Hey, listen, Bryan Kobel's with us, or Kobel. See, Greg, you screwed around. His name's Bryan Kobel, but Greg calls him Kobel because Brian's saying it wrong.
He's not a champagne.
Is it?
Brian, it's Kobel, knucklehead. Bryan Kobel is the CEO of BioPharm Holdings, stock symbol TCBP. Brian, I can't help you, man. Listen, I've tried, but Greg has now screwed me up. What's up, brother? Great to see you in Glasgow, Scotland.
You know, if you don't think Funyun powder is magic voodoo powder, you and I might be disagreeing.
No, I do think it is. Listen.
It is. It is. It's absolutely.
You can grind
it's incredible.
the Funyun.
It's like Jim Gaffigan says, bibbity bobbity bacon.
Yes.
Right? If you had bacon and Funyun powder on top of a freaking fillet, are you kidding me? Are you getting misty? Are you tearing up?
You guys continue, please.
Mike's tearing up. Bryan, listen, I'm going to let you take this away in this segment because you have so many good things going that I don't even want to lead you on the question. Just give us an update from last time we talked because TC BioPharm, there's multiple diseases you guys are dealing with here, but you've had a lot of good stuff on the business side also. Talk about it.
Yeah, you know, we took an M&A approach that we talked about last time around are there assets we can pick up? And what I think we've seen is the industry is really reacting to that. And we've signed 2 non-binding LOIs to date. One of them for some CAR-NK assets, which expand the portfolio. We believe natural killer cells and gamma delta cells play really, really well together, and that's sort of proven scientifically. And then we recently announced a non-binding LOI for another company that expands our CAR expertise in not just alpha betas, but gamma delta cells. So now we're in solid tumors, we're in blood cancer, we're in autoimmune. It's really exploding. And I'm frankly surprised, even, you know, having set it up.
Well, keep in mind though, Brian, remember last year for biotech and biopharma was horrible. 2023, actually part of 2022 was horrible in terms of even at the JP Morgan Chase conference this year for biopharma. They basically said, good times are here coming, but don't expect to raise any money for the first quarter of 2024, which is exactly what happened. Is most of these, and the problem is, when you invest in a biopharma firm, it's a venture capital deal. A venture capital deal is typically a 7 years exit. Sometimes a private equity will come in the midway, which is sort of a venture capital play, and give a partial exit. But biopharma is a long soak, as they say. And I'll tell you what, you said, screw that. you raise money, or do it. Mike, do you know what M&A is, by the way?
No, I don't.
I thought you'd at least try.
I know what M&Ms are, but I don't.
Mergers and acquisitions.
Oh, well, okay.
So let me tell you what the M&A strategy is. Acquisition strategy is, like, for example, when Intel or Google buys a company that they either do business with or a competitor to put them out of business.
Yep.
But they buy them, and then those assets go into the company. So the idea is high speed, low drag. In other words, get a lot of assets, no debt. Brian is probably oversimplifying that, but something that it's a value add to the company.
It's really accurate. I have a friend, his uncle made a bunch of money doing this, and it's kind of the way he did it is sort of how I would compare what we're doing. He used to buy huge swaths of land, and they would clear the trees, build it out into very nice acred plots, and then we'd call Toll Brothers and say, hey, Toll Brothers, come buy our land
Toll Brothers
and drop your houses on top.
So
all we're doing is setting up for Toll Brothers, meaning large pharma. We're buying all these assets, we'll advance them along, and in 24, 36 months, we're going to have tons of clinical data and multiple cell therapies. Immuno-oncology will come back around, immune therapy will come back around, and we're prime positioned to be acquired.
So the Toll Brothers, stock symbol TOL, Toll Brothers was a publicly traded company, is a publicly traded company as a builder. And they built master plan communities in the 90s and just killed it. If you owned Toll back then, it was like owning Apple.
Oh.
No, it was killer. And they did it with an acquisition strategy, which was just insane, to where you're not really, I mean, you're making more money on your profit and loss statement and on your books just by picking up somebody else. So suddenly now your asset base doubles. And what's the first thing that happens when you get acquired? CEO like Bryan walks in, and he says hi to every new customer they just acquired, number one. Number two, trims the fat. That's why you always see an acquisition, some people getting out of there. And number three, execute the business plan, and that's how you're doing it. Hey, talk about the rest of the year in terms of drugs and therapies, in terms of FDA and where we're at in terms of timing, because everything seems to be thumbs up, working in the right direction there.
Yeah, forgetting the assets we're acquiring, the core asset TCB008 is going gangbusters. So post the MHRA approving and accepting our amendment, we've restarted the trial. We expect to dose the first patient in the second cohort, so the subsequent 14 patients, probably before the end of May, which means we're on track to announce data in that trial in Q4 of this year at the latest. We're expecting QMUL proof of concept in the antifungal in Q3, if not, right before Q3, which means we'd be on track for an antifungal trial and to be accepted Q4 and to launch Q1 2025. So, TCB008 is just out there killing it, and we're in a great place with the core assets, and then on top of that, all these other assets that are coming on board for us. It's kind of crazy to me. Like I look at sort of the profile of the company today from a market cap perspective, and it's pretty clear investors are missing the message, right? Which is you're talking about this is the beginning of the next Regeneron, the next PureTech, the next Ligand.
Well, but I would argue
you're seeing your front row seat.
I would argue, though, and we don't talk about share price and such on this program, but I will tell you, your share price has done well this year.
Oh, it has.
And I'll tell you, but as far as people missing the message, you have to remember, though, they're coming off of that big nut-filled you-know-what that was sitting in the front yard called BioPharm last year. And now we've cleaned it up, and we're fine. Bryan, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Bryan Kobel.
Thanks, guys.
Kobel,
appreciate it.
Bryan calls it, but what does he know? That does it for us. Big Biz Show. We'll see you tomorrow.